Children of the night, what music they make.
They're all gonna laugh at you!
They're coming to get you, Barbara.
What's up?
I'm not gonna hurt you. I'm just gonna bash you a bit.
I don't know what it is. We're 383 episodes in, and I still bob my head every intro while I'm waiting for the show to start.
Wow. Yeah.
I don't know what that is, but I dig it.
Music.
Yeah, I like it. We are the final guys. This week we are reviewing Phantasm IV. And if you ever want to know if there's a week we can't agree on what to watch, it's because we're reviewing a Phantasm movie.
It's the emergency break glass movie.
Yes. If it's Don Cross Bradley time. I'm Jason Brandt, joined as always by Cockett and Pullet Skullet Chad Lutsky, by Jack Brittany Spheres Campisi.
Whoops, I did it again.
Brilliant.
That was great.
And this other guy, Fangasm.
Hi.
You get the best intro of all.
Thanks.
So we only have 2 more episodes now till the end of the year, right?
Yeah, because
Okay.
we got
Unless we decide to record a different night, which I don't think anybody wants to do.
Not particularly, no.
look. We deserve 2 weeks off in a row.
I agree.
Because Jason, you never get a day off.
No, I took 3 days or 4 days off for Thanksgiving, and I am so behind now. It is like I wish I hadn't. So
Yeah.
You
Doesn't
might
that
as well
suck?
just join the
You gotta
corporate
pay
world.
for it.
yeah, it is what it is. Alrighty. Any news, notes, announcements, anything?
I am wearing my Elf "You Smell Like Beef and Cheese" shirt.
Oh, that's very nice. That is very nice.
I'm wearing
We
my
were decorating
Freddy
the house,
Krueger
though.
glove hoodie.
Oh, look at that! Subtle,
Oh,
yet
yeah.
powerful.
That's the I'm a
Wearing
horror
my-
dork, but you can't tell unless you're up close.
Exactly.
Wearing my Lich King shirt.
What is Lich King?
It's a hardcore thrash crossover band.
Oh,
I'm
Little
wearing a shirt that's so old the thing has faded off. I don't know what it used to be, but it's got holes in it now. So
Comfy.
literally, that had like something on it, and it's
Yeah.
all gone.
yeah, I don't know what it was. You can see like little sparkles.
It's time to throw it away.
I wear
like
nice
all my
clothes.
That's like all my Kiss shirts and from back in the day when you'd have the transfers with and then it would just be like go to nothing. You'd have like the little glitter still stuck in some of it.
Yep, just
That's
peel
basically
away.
where I'm at. If you guys don't have anything, I would just quickly say before getting into the drinking words, the movie that is coming up for Thursday on So Bad It's Good has one of the greatest storylines of all time, and I wanted to share it with you guys. Lou Ferrigno is in Vietnam. He gets shot in the head, and he has brain damage to the point where he now is the equivalent of a 5-year-old. He eats ice cream. He has action figures. His buddy takes him around, takes care of him, his buddy from Vietnam. And these mafia guys kidnap Lou Ferrigno and convince him to fight in a kumite so that they can win a bunch of money. So it's basically a child in the Hulk's body fighting in a kumite. It is one of the greatest things of all time. So
That sound is this like Lou Ferrigno in his prime, or is this like Lou now?
1989, so he's pretty jacked.
Jack, remember when we got my wife to see Lou Ferrigno?
I shook his mighty hand.
Gosh, she was so nervous.
Hunter's wife was all nervous and was going to bail out if we were at Chiller. And then I'm like, no, you got to meet him. So I grabbed her by the hand, walked up and said, "This is your biggest fan." He's like, "Oh." And they had a wonderful conversation.
She just
I got
has
his
this,
autograph too.
she has this startled look on her face in the picture, which is awesome. And then I'm just being a douche. I'm like, because he was selling some picture book or something. I'm like, "Hey, you got any of the King of Queens stuff in there?" "Yeah, I'll pay
right.
$164. You're like, oh,
That was a pretty good Lou Ferrigno right there.
I remember I was a big fan of the show, back in the what was it, late 70s?
yeah.
And I remember hearing him talk for the first time and I was like, "Oh, man."
Is he all right? Now we know. He was just in that show about the making of The Godfather. He
I need to
one of
watch
like
that.
dude,
Really?
the Offer. The Offer is I love that series. It's a limited series. It's on
Why,
Paramount Plus.
does he have a a little part in Godfather or something? Or
He's
just
kind of like one of the mob
movie?
goons.
Really?
Yeah,
I don't remember that.
he is still enormous.
I was going to say, how long ago did you meet him, and how big was he still?
Oh, probably
Does he play the
15
sleeps
years.
with the fishes guy?
He's close to it. But he plays like a real life mobster. But it was maybe like 10, 12 years ago, I think.
Luca Brasi sleeps with the fishes.
Oh, my.
Beautiful. Alrighty, how about some drinking words?
All right, you know how this works. Sheridan Bradford somehow taps into our psyches while we sleep, figures out what words we're going to say. We say them, and then you drink. So here we go. Jack's words tonight are first, man, and Mike. Mine are bonkers, Jebediah. That's probably not going to be said. And death. Jason's words are budget, spear, and footage. Mr. Lutsky's are desert, hills, and imagery. And if any of us say tall Reggie balls, drink.
As always, he's trying to show us his balls in this, but it never quite works out. Poor Reggie. Alrighty. With that, it's time for Jack Campese's award-winning news segment.
Woohoo.
It's the news. Yay.
All right. First piece of news and concerns. This was the big story of the week. Evil Dead, the next movie, has a name.
Yep.
Evil Dead Burn, to be released in 2026. Directed by Sebastian Vanacek.
Do we
And
know
there's
that
another one after that coming, but they don't have a name for it yet.
What's Sebastian done?
That's a good question.
He's going to be water boy.
I can say, though, that his description of it said, well, he's a French filmmaker. Oh, he did Infested,
Hmm.
which
Oh, okay.
was that spider movie, which he said kind of feels like Evil Dead Rise with spiders.
You're right.
Oh, yeah.
Get that.
So,
Okay.
By the way, see what happens. Jack has a new location. He lost that piece of paper, and you asked him a question, and he was like, oh, God. Oh, he's got the paper.
you got the paper, schmuck.
Oh. I thought maybe you went digital.
I used the new printer over here.
I mean, I'm psyched.
Hello.
It's
the
going
bells
to give
are
me
back.
it's going to give me a reason to live to 2026 now.
This one's going to be everybody's favorite news story. As you all know, on Christmas Day, Nosferatu is coming out in theaters. If you go to the theater, you may see people protesting outside, and they may be the PETA people who are protesting the portrayal of rats in this movie as plague spreaders. They think that the rats are being unjustly portrayed as the cause of the spread of the plague.
Is
Oh
this
my
not a
God.
period film that deals with actual plague spreading via rats, like in history?
So I actually looked, and this article didn't say what they feel like the actual cause of the plague was. I know that I was pretty sure that wasn't it fleas that were on the rats.
Look, you're not going to get anything good
Still
by having a
makes
lot of
him a
rats
carrier.
around. So
Fucking-
this
who
movie
cares?
is giving rats a bad name. We need to
I
make
will-
a giant shovel these people up into a dumpster, and set it out into the sea.
I will fight these people because rats have plagued my backyard because I live near a restaurant,
Dude, yes.
and they're. I've been out with a pellet gun trying to nail those bastards.
Yeah. Oh, we need
So we're
video
trying
of
to-
Jack swinging at PETA people.
We're trying to make sure we're not offending rats now, is where we're at
Yes.
as a society.
Jason, this doesn't surprise you, does it? Really?
No, it makes me hate everything more.
Yeah.
I thought we're turning the corner. I thought we're done with this nonsense.
We are. It's coming. It's coming. There's probably
rats.
very, very few people picketing this.
Yeah, I have a feeling this is one of those things that gets announced and doesn't
Yeah.
actually happen. Like, who cares?
This movie is making the undead look like bad people.
This is PETA just trying to. They say that vampires are more of a risk than rats. Like, shut up.
Lala says we're whitewashing the rat history.
What we do.
Sounds like it.
You know what? If PETA gets a little publicity out of it, they're happy.
Can we dump like rats on them?
Yes.
That'd be cool.
And now for the coolest news. The Golden Globes are often a precursor to the Oscars. And one movie in particular has been nominated for 5 Golden Globes. It's a little movie called The Substance.
That's amazing.
Best motion picture, musical or comedy. Best director. Best performance by an actress. Best performance by an actress in a supporting role. And best screenplay.
Wow.
I mean,
Now, well, the thing for me is I have a group of friends and we try and see as many of the nominated best pictures at least. And typically I'm the one that's going to see movies that I don't want to see. This year, God, I'm hoping this movie gets nominated for best picture and all of my friends have to go see this movie.
I mean, there are some award-winning Globes in the movie, so I totally get the nomination.
Well, the special effects for Margaret Qualley should win everything.
Yeah. And Demi's Globes have not changed since striptease. Haven't even moved an inch.
She's
Well, that's because
done
they're
all
not
the
real.
required maintenance.
She sure has.
So we're rooting for The Substance to sweep the Golden Globes.
Totally.
And with that, that's all the news that's fit to print.
All right, let's find out what Chad watched on Tubi this week.
We have such sights to show you.
Take it away, Lutsky.
All right. I did not watch the Tubi movie. I did not watch the 2024 film, but I did watch a 2021 film.
That's close, you know.
It's an Icelandic film that, as of 2021, was apparently the highest grossing Icelandic film ever made. A quiet folk horror piece called Lamb by A24.
I took my daughter to see it in the theater when it came out.
Did
It's a
you?
weird movie.
She, when it was over, she looked at me. She goes, "What did we just watch? What was that movie?"
Yes. Well, I've been wanting to see this for a long time, being A24 and all. Didn't know really anything about it. I got the sense that it was surreal. That's all I really knew about it. Hunter, I knew you saw it. I didn't know that all of you guys had seen it. But for those who haven't, a married couple living way out in the middle of absolutely nowhere, down at the bottom of mountains in Iceland, working hard on their sheep / goat / lamb farm. I in this movie I can't tell what's a goat, what's a lamb, what's a sheep. Because none of them really look like your stereotypical lamb or your stereotypical goat. So anyway, they are delivering babies, baby lambs, and they deliver one that gives them like paws, and we don't see it, but we see that it's alive. We hear that it's alive. We see its cute little head. And instead of raising this new lamb in the barn with the rest of them, they bring it inside. They baby it. Oh, spoiler alert! Okay.
Oops.
They even give it its own crib. In the meantime, the lamb's mother patrols around the house, looking in the windows, calling out for her baby. A few scenes give us a sense that this married couple have had a child in the past and lost it, and now they're maybe going a little too far with this lamb. But if you're watching the podcast, you know why they're going too far with this lamb. But we don't see it yet, so you're left wondering what's going on with it. I don't want to spoil a whole lot. So I'll just say that it's not outright horror. It's more unsettling, or it has some unsettling scenes. And PETA would love this movie for sure.
Yeah.
It's also a very cute movie, but then it absolutely breaks your freaking heart. So if you can handle slow burning, quiet folk horror, then I recommend it. I thought it was great. But I do wonder if maybe knocking off about 15 or 20 minutes would have been better, because it's like an hour and it's I think 46 minutes, something like that.
Yep.
It feels a little too long, but it's I mean, you know, a lot of those real long, quiet shots where you're just seeing like people do their farming stuff, and you just so you kind of get a lot is done with the actors do a lot without with minimal dialogue. There's not much dialogue, and so what's said is in subtitles, but there's not a whole lot of reading. Yeah, A24, man. I don't think I've seen a movie that I haven't liked from them yet.
I really like Lamb. I saw it in the theater, so it's a different experience in the theater than at home because you're in it. So it didn't feel long. It didn't even feel slow to me. I was just fascinated by the.
Well, plus you get to look at all that beautiful imagery of where they live and stuff.
It was gorgeous and bleak at the same time.
I laughed at the end of that movie.
Oh man, not me.
The end is nuts.
There were a lot of like confused sounds coming out of people in the theater. I remember they were like,
Really? I thought the end like perfectly explained what happened the whole time.
Yeah, oh yeah.
It's out of nowhere, but it explains it.
Anyway, yeah. There's a couple shocking moments. I'm editing the wife and I did this for Creepy Couch. I'm editing it now, so yeah. Good stuff, man.
I like Noomi Rapace. She does out there stuff. She'll do like a big budget movie and then she does weird shit like this.
yeah,
She's a good actress.
she knows how to do it. Make your money and then go do the things you want to do.
Do the weird shit. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Britney Spears, what you got?
Baby, baby.
Unlike Chad, I saw 2 2024 movies this week.
Ooh, let's hear about it.
I'll start with Werewolves in the theater.
That's A24? I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either.
No,
Werewolves?
2024.
Oh, 2024. Oh, I thought you said
No.
A24.
Oh,
It's like, what?
Jack's keeping current, man.
Dude, I'm so jealous. I tried to go see this, but it had one theater near me and it was only showing like late in the evening and I couldn't make it.
Well, I was looking forward to this too, and I showed up at the theater. And you know how there's always something when I go to the theater? Somebody's sitting in my seat or something.
Yeah.
Somebody
This
pissed in
time
my
I had
chair.
a 5:20 movie, and I go there, and the end of the movie, like clearly I'm in like, I will open the door to the theater. It's still going, the show before mine. And I'm like, what the hell's going on? So I ask the people in the theater who have no idea what's going on.
Right.
So my movie is delayed. So just when I thought like I'm showing up a little bit into the trailers, no. I'm at like the beginning of the movie with Maria Menounos. So I had that. But as I'm walking in, this guy, the only person who saw the show before me, is walking out. And I'm like, I asked him, I goes, did this end late or something? He's like, yeah. He goes, by the way, this movie sucks.
Unvarnished opinion.
So I sat down. I was the only one in the theater. It unravels. And then probably somewhere around the time where I had originally shown up with like 20, 15 minutes left in the movie, a pack of teenagers probably snuck, came out of another movie and snuck into mine to watch. They watched like 5 minutes of this movie and they all got back up and walked out again.
Oh, teenagers walking out. Come on. They have no discernible taste.
So this is a year ago. The world had a supermoon and it triggered something where everybody who was exposed to the moonlight was turned into a werewolf and billions of people were like killed in one night. And this is a year later and the supermoon is due to happen again. And so people are preparing for the supermoon, including some scientists who are trying to study possible cures or prevention measures and just what the heck's actually going on. And other people are boarding themselves up because this is clearly, you could tell this is like, was pitched as The Purge with werewolves. Frank Grillo from the Purge movies leads this movie, and he is a ex-military guy who's also a scientist.
Of course.
And so he leaves his brother's wife and daughter in the boarded up protected house so he could go help the people study the transformations they're indoors, not exposed to this moonlight. And then everything goes to hell, and he's got to work his way back across town to his family. I was expecting this to be, because I heard the term like millions and billions of people and stuff. I thought I was going to get like World War Z with werewolves, like just, piles of werewolves going up the, a skyscraper wall or, all that. There's a handful of werewolves in this movie. And basically, there's a couple of set pieces. It was very limited budget.
A handful of werewolves.
There's a handful of werewolves. Huh. So if you're expecting this big grand scale thing, no. It's more like I don't know, Escape from New York. Like, not even.
So should we watch Underworld if we really want to see
There's way more werewolves in Underworld than this. Look, I watched some people's reviews on this. It is a dumb werewolf movie, emphasis on the word dumb, that you may enjoy if you like dumb 90s action movies, practical effects. Frank Grillo's pretty good lead guy, but he doesn't quite have the delivery and sense of humor that other lead guys have. So like when he tries to be funny, it doesn't quite come off. I just thought it was really dumb. I thought this was like a made for streaming movie that somehow snuck its way into a theater. So you don't need to see this movie in the theater. I thought it was dumb, but you might enjoy it at home having a beer.
I love dumb 90s action movies. I like werewolves and I like Frank Grillo. So maybe
you'll probably enjoy it. Like I said, just lower the bar, kick back and enjoy it. But for what it was, I thought it could have been a little bit funnier. It could have been a little bit. It's just really dumb. Like everything that happens is. I was expecting a dumb movie, but
it was dumber than that.
It was dumber. Like,
why is it so hard to make a good werewolf movie?
I was just thinking that, and
they borrow some stuff from other horror movies.
I think it's going to take another country to do it. The French or Spain, or we're going to get a movie that's kind of like The Transfiguration, where it's like it's a vampire movie, but it's so different that it's kind of not. And maybe they'll give us something like that, but America can't do it, I guess.
I mean, there's 1,000 good vampire movies. Like, I don't know why it's so overcomplicated with werewolves.
Well, what was Wolf Cop? Was that a Canadian movie?
I think it was Canadian, actually.
Yeah, there's proof that we don't know what the hell we're doing. And Late Phases was good.
If you have a good character piece, if you start with that, some of the better werewolf movies we've seen have good characters and other stuff going on besides the werewolf stuff.
The one with the girl from the AT&T commercials, was that Werewolves Within?
Yeah, Werewolves Within.
That was a fun movie.
The one with Snow Hollow, that was a pretty good one.
Yeah.
That was all right.
But that's not like the werewolves aren't front and center in those movies.
Right.
Yeah, I like what's her name's movie? Dog Soldiers.
Janine Pipe's favorite movie.
I like Dog Soldiers.
I think it's a great. It's one of the best werewolves in a movie, I think.
This definitely, the guys who made this definitely love Dog Soldiers.
Yeah.
All right.
And The Howling. Look, the practical effects. It's guys in suits. The transformations are CG, but then once they are slow moving dudes in suits. So
I kind of like that. Kind of selling me that way.
Jason, this could be made just for you.
I might actually love this movie.
Yeah.
Go for it, dude.
You also might like it better not seeing it in the theater.
Yeah. I was going to see it yesterday when I saw the times. I was like, shit, man, I can't make that. Damn it.
It's not even playing anywhere around me. It's not allowed.
I wonder how this got a big release. That's interesting.
There are a lot of people that are enjoying it more than I did, and I didn't hate it. I just, I would want it. I wanted to like it. I wanted to like it in the dumb fun way more than I did.
Okay. Alrighty. What you got, Fangasm?
Dude, so last Friday night, sitting around, I don't know what to watch. My wife she assaults me with Christmas specials this time of year, but she fell asleep early. I'm like, oh, good. I have this to myself. So unlike this coming Friday where we have Joe Bob's Christmas special, we didn't have that last Friday. So I was tooling around, went to Max. I see this new cartoon, Creature Commandos from DC universe. And I'm like, all right, DC doesn't know how to make live action movies, but their cartoons are really usually pretty good. And I said, let me give it a shot. This is one of the best things I've watched all year. They dropped the first 2 episodes on last Thursday, and they're going to put a new episode out every Thursday until I think there's going to be 10, I think, or 7 maybe. This is by Pete. It's written by
Frank
James
Grillo.
Gunn. Frank Grillo. This is a Frank Grillo twofer. Who thought that would ever happen?
Wow.
But he plays a human who's leading this group of creatures. That is the radioactive guy.
That is not Ghost Rider.
No, he's not Ghost Rider. He's hysterical. So he's just full of radioactivity. And at one point, Frank Grillo goes, hey, is it dangerous to be around him? He's like, well, unless you're going to sleep in the bed next to him, you should be fine. You've got the Bride of Frankenstein. You've got a creature from the Black Lagoon, but it's a woman who wears a fishbowl on her head. You've got a combat crazed weasel who's basically the werewolf, and you've got a robot who was made to kill Nazis, who's this kind of like naive, nice robot. But if you tell him there's Nazis around, he starts blasting everything that he can find.
That weasel's from the Suicide Squad.
Yeah, this and Frank Grillo plays the leader, the Suicide Squad's leader's father.
Oh, Rick Flag.
Yeah. So he's Rick Flag Sr. I haven't laughed this hard all year in anything I've watched. There's not only nudity, there's fucking going on. There's cartoon fucking in this show. There is blood and guts and gore. It's just crazy. It's absolutely mind-boggling crazy. So I can't wait now for Thursday. And when this ends, I know I'm going to be very upset. Because they showed kind of previews of what's upcoming, and it looks. I mean, I'm just amazed. DC can't make like even a half an hour's good shit with live action, but their cartoons are so good.
So this movie is the first DC relaunch with James Gunn. So he said like Peacemaker is sort of like carrying over, but there'll be small continuity changes, but basically that show stands.
Right.
And then this is like the first. So whatever happens in this is like new DC universe.
If you're a fan of Harley Quinn, the animated series, you're going to go crazy over this. And I'm a big fan of the Harley Quinn series too. So, and Clayface from Harley Quinn will be in this eventually.
All right.
Let me tell you, man, give me animated nipples any day. I'm in.
Seeing the pictures reminds me of Invincible a little bit, which is an incredible show. It's super gory.
Yeah. Well, this show is 2 episodes in, it was amping up in the second episode. I was like, oh, I can only imagine how far they're going to take this.
I'm interested. All right.
Yeah.
I watched a movie that I did not even know came out in, I think, October, maybe it was November, called Elevation, which apparently came out in the theaters. Had no clue.
I knew this was coming out, but I didn't realize it had come out.
Yeah, it's out on streaming now. So this stars Anthony Mackie in a post-apocalyptic world where one day creatures came up out of the ground and killed everybody, except people who were above the elevation of 8,000 feet. For some reason, these creatures refuse to go above that. So they'll be chasing someone, and when they hit 8,000 feet, they stop completely.
I can't breathe.
And they are indestructible. No one has been able to kill one ever. It's been 3 years since they came out of the ground, and everyone's basically an alcoholic living in Colorado. With their supplies are now starting to dwindle because it's been long enough.
Like actual Colorado.
Yes,
like there's no change.
Like in the Rockies. Yep.
We're all drunk and high before and after.
This was decent. This was decent. Considering it was a movie I hadn't heard of, I was surprised. It's got some writing problems. It's like a lot of other movies you've seen, which is kind of a problem with it. Like A Quiet Place is similar. You don't have to be quiet in this, but these things come, they wipe everyone out if you go outside. It's very similar in that regard. But some cool ideas. The writing. This is one of those movies where everyone is talking to each other using their names. It's like, there's only two of you in this fucking room. Why do you keep using each other's names?
Right.
Like, that shit drives me
Jason.
nuts.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Jack.
That's
It's,
beginner writer.
Yeah,
Nonsense.
it's like writing 101 shit.
Good point, Hunter.
Thank you, Jack.
That's
Continue,
what's
Jason.
happening. And actually, I really enjoyed the ending of this, and I wish there'd be a sequel. But apparently, this cost like $18 million and made $3 million. So that's not going to happen.
No.
I saw this trailer and had no interest, so I'm glad it sounds like it's worth a watch at least.
It's not a good theatrical. It sounds like what you were saying about Werewolves. It's kind of like a dumb action horror film that is good to catch on streaming. You're like, oh, that was okay. That was all right. That's what this was. So, I wouldn't pay $20 for it again, but
Again.
it's okay. It's okay.
For some reason, when you were talking about it, reminded me of that movie Monsters, which has one of the worst posters for a good movie that I've ever seen, and it kept me away from it. It's where the
in Mexico.
reporter?
yeah, and the dude did all those effects on his laptop.
Yeah.
and just
That's a
freaking blows
good
my
movie.
mind.
This is kind of a weird one.
Great
All
movie.
the effects with the creatures are very well done. And then there's like some green screen work with Anthony Mackie that I'm like, dude, I could have done that in 5 minutes. Like, why does that look so bad? So it's one of those where it's like, what is happening here? Like, did they just kind of give up on the budget? They're like, it doesn't matter anymore.
Maybe it was reshoots.
Could be. And with a couple writing tweaks, this could have been a really interesting kind of film that could have started a franchise. But
When I was watching Werewolves, I actually thought to myself, if I was 13 years old and I saw this movie, I would love it.
oh, well, you're making me want to see it more.
See, he's going out
Everything
right
you've
after
said
this
sounds
episode.
good. Man in a suit? I'm in. All right, Aletsky, what you got?
I am tapped out, man. Unfortunately.
All right, Britney Spears.
You guys ready for this?
Yes,
Yes.
Jack.
Hit us, baby.
Jason, Chad, Hunter.
Jack.
I saw Speak No Evil, the remake.
Oh, you sucker!
Good, you can tell us what
I'm
this
gonna
movie
tell
I
you.
want to watch is.
I'm not going to spoil it, but I'm going to give you a heads up, give you a little bit. So we all saw this movie, 2 years ago. It's got a harsh ending. I mean, I put the ending of this movie, with The Mist and a few other movies with like that kick in the nuts kind of ending.
Makes you want to not rewatch it.
Not rewatch it, but makes it
one and
memorable.
done.
You're like,
Yes.
wow, that was a horror movie.
Yeah.
This movie, I was worried. As Jason, you've echoed this. I just saw this movie. Why do we need to and it was in English. I get it though. Put some name brand people like James McAvoy in it, and a broader audience will see it. But who the hell needs to sit through that downer of a movie? That girl there, his wife, is the girl from The Nightingale. Remember that?
Yes.
Stop motion. So this is a movie about two couples that meet on vacation. Our hero couple have a daughter. The couple that they meet in this place in Italy have a son who can't speak. He's got a tongue disorder. And they become friends.
Yeah, I'll say.
Tongue disorder.
Well, they call it some medical thing, and then you find out more about it later.
Yeah.
And so then they go their separate ways, but say they're going to keep in touch. And then the James McAvoy's family invites them out to the country to visit, where they have them in their home, and then they start to slowly reveal their kind of nutty side, and things go crazy. And in the original, it gets really friggin' dark. This movie is a carbon copy of that movie for the first two acts, maybe even 2.5. And then it diverges for the last act. So it's the same movie until it turns, and then it becomes more mainstream, kind of a little more
American.
actiony,
More
more
Americanized.
palatable for mass audiences. The edges have been smoothed a little bit on the on things,
We suck.
Yeah.
and so
Honestly, I feel like that's probably the way to go. Like that one was so harsh. I didn't even want to watch the American one. I was like, I'm good. Like I don't
Yeah.
need to see that again.
Especially
for
not
a
couple
mainstream
years later.
audience, they're going to watch it, and they kind of missed the point of the first movie, because this whole movie is about how being polite and going along with things rather than ripping the Band-Aid off and saying no for an awkward 5 minutes could save you a lot of pain down the road.
Mm-hmm.
This movie kind of misses the point by doing what it does. But at the same time, for people who are just looking for something to watch and have some thrills, a general audience will handle this movie better than the original. But as a horror fan, I would say watch the original and don't worry about this one. But if you are going to watch this one, know that you will see something a little bit different with this version. And James McAvoy is probably worth the price of admission, because he's doing his what's that Split movie thing. So, but
So worth watching.
it's worth watching. But if you've seen the first one, you can't help but watch through the lens. And for me, I just felt like, okay, that was a commercial ending.
It made a lot of money. $15 million budget, made $77 million at the box office.
Whoa.
Wow.
It was like the perfect example of art versus just trying to make money. You know, like with the ending with Speak No Evil, it's abrasive, it's aggressive and depressing, and but it stands out, and it's not like a Hollywood ending. And then so, like Jason said, thinking that it was a smart idea. Yeah, if you're wanting to make money, which is why they remade it. And it's
Well, that's
why
the only
they make
reason
movies,
they
yeah.
give you the keys to make a movie.
it didn't used to be like that. But that's not why they made movies necessarily. You know,
It is always why they've made movies. They just didn't know how to do it right. They still don't.
Fortunately, there are still companies that believe in taking huge chances. You know, like A24 and doing
They know
really
what they're making
strange
money
things.
too.
This one's
And
Blumhouse.
letting the letting the art happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's worth a watch. But
But if you're standing at the video store that no longer exists, and both of them are on the shelf, you're going to grab what?
watch the original. If
Yeah.
you're watching this show, watch the original.
Right. If you're talking to your normie friend at work, watch the American ones.
Right.
Yeah, that makes sense.
If you're talking to
That honestly
normally
makes sense for a remake to me.
tell them to watch Martyrs. I tell people that all the time. What's a good horror movie? Martyrs.
It's great for Christmas. It takes a little while for the Christmas theme to kick in.
There's
But wait
angels
till
and
the
everything.
All right, what you got?
All right. So my favorite Stephen Blue Sky Social King movie adaptation is Misery. And it was before I even thought I was ever going to become a writer. I just love the idea of a writer being kidnapped by a crazy woman and tortured and forced to write a book he doesn't want to write. So, in fact, I got it right here. I watch it all the time.
Oh.
Somebody abduct me. I realized I never read the book. So,
Really?
yeah,
Oh God.
yeah, it came. I remember we saw it when it first came out in the movies when I was dating my wife and a couple of fraternity brothers. I remember that, but I never read the book. So I'm doing all my writing in the library. It's like, I don't know. It's a mental thing. The words flow there. If I try to do the same thing here, it's not happening. So I'm surrounded by books, and this cubicle I like is by the Stephen King section. So I said, let me grab this. I was in the very beginning reading this book. I was like, all right, so we've jumped so far ahead. The whole movie is explained already within the first 30 pages. And there's only 350 more to go, whatever. I was like, where are we going? Man, the book is so good. Annie is crazier. And you get deeper into the psyche of Annie. And I know they kind of gloss over the whole pill thing, but like the level of addiction to the drug that he's on in the book is much different and explains a lot. And it's just
what
more
she does
brutal.
to him is way more hardcore in the
Let
book.
me tell you, man, you wish you would only be hobbled with your feet smacked against that block of wood. And look, this book is 40 years old now almost. So I'll give a spoiler or two. In the book, yeah, there you go. Ring the bell. The bell is back.
Yay! No
It's
more
not a
glass.
glass with a spoon. So in the movie, we know she hobbles him by putting the block of wood and just taking the hammer. In the book, she cuts his foot off and then uses a torch to cauterize it. And then later on in the book, he's talking about something and he's typing away and he's typing with his one thumb. And you're like, what? And it has to backtrack to her sawing off his thumb with, I think, an electric cutting knife or something.
Yeah, like a turkey knife.
If you love the movie, now I'm so upset it took me this long to read the book, but you have to read the book because just you get a little more, and you don't have a kindly old sheriff side story trying to find him.
Oh, is that not in the book? It's been so long, I don't remember.
Not at all.
Okay.
It's just him and her for the entire cock-a-doodie book.
I think I was 15 when I read this, and I was like, Jesus, like this is rough to read.
I mean, you've got an imperfect man who's addicted to drugs, losing parts of himself, weak as can be, trying to fight this very zoftic, crazy lady. But on a whole other level. I understand why they dialed it back. I don't think this would be palatable for a mainstream audience the way the movie was, the way Rob Reiner did it. So go to your library, check it out, or you can find these books probably for $0.25 at any book sale somewhere. So,
This is peak Stephen King.
it is. It definitely is. This, and he wrote Pet Sematary around the same time, and it's a good one.
He's deep into coke and booze, which is when he was just killing it.
Yeah. What if you would drink 16 tall boys a night and do blow? That's
I'd be up
crazy.
pissing for like 3 days.
My
Dang,
kidneys.
I'd
would
get a
just
yeast
explode.
infection.
So that was a fun read. Perfect. And I always think of Misery as a Christmas movie.
Yeah, okay.
You know, it's in the snow. Looks Christmassy.
All right, I'll give you that.
Yeah.
Okay, so I watched a movie called Last Straw, which is one of these movies that says 2023, but I think it actually came out in 2024 because I had heard of it until recently. This is the story of a kind of a piece of shit main character who has become a manager at her father's diner. She finds out she's pregnant. She has absolutely no idea who the father is. And she has to do the night shift one night with a weird guy. And while she's there, before it turns dark, some guys in weird masks show up. Tell me if you've heard this before. And they start harassing her. They've got some roadkill with them. They're just kind of dickheads. She says she's going to call the cops and scare them off. They leave. Then as night falls and everyone is gone except her, the guys come back and start messing with her. Very basic story, but it takes some twists. Probably about halfway through, some twists start to happen that I was into until the story. To further the story, characters have to be shockingly stupid and do things that are hard to believe somebody would just willingly do out of nowhere. And then the end, I really was not a huge fan of. Again, another twist that's like, so it's well shot. It's got great acting. almost the entire thing takes place in a diner, or a lot of it anyway, and they do a great job with it. It was just more the writing that I didn't love. Every time the plot takes another twist, I was like, yeah, I'm not buying that. So it's okay. It's an okay film. It'd be worth checking out. Like this would be a good Shudder movie. I'd be curious if you guys like the ending or not.
Where is it? It sounds good.
Oh, probably Amazon's where I watch freaking everything. Yeah, Amazon.
So if you get COVID from your family gathering for the holidays and you're stuck on the couch,
Yeah, you
it'll
could do
get you
worse.
through.
This has a 5.5 rating on IMDb. That's probably about right. Like, not, for a horror film, it's it's not bad. So worth checking out anyway. Anybody
boy.
else?
It's 2024 movie, right?
Yeah. It's no.
All right.
All right. Well, if we're all tapped out, it's
We
time
are.
to talk about the Tall Man and the legend himself, Reggie Bannister, with Phantasm IV.
You like scary movies?
Uh-huh.
What's your favorite scary movie?
I don't know.
You have to have a favorite. What comes to mind?
I would love to hear Jack explain the story of Phantasm IV.
I was just thinking about that.
I was praying you wouldn't ask me.
I have a brief summarization. But
I have no
let's hear it.
freaking idea what the hell was going on in this movie. Reggie is chasing, is Mike his name?
Yeah.
Who's like becoming one of the tall man things. And his brother's like a ghost spear. And the tall man is trying to seduce him to the dark side of the force. And Reggie meets another hot chick with a dark side. And phantasm-y stuff happens.
That's pretty good.
And Dead Jody has aged tremendously somehow in his death, and he's around.
I didn't look up when this was made, but I think there was a big gap because
98,
everybody
98.
looks way older.
It's 19 or 20 years after the first one.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
So, all right, Jack, what did you think?
I don't even know what I thought of this movie. I was watching going. First of all, I came home from Werewolves, and then I watched this.
Oy.
Oh boy.
And by the end of it, I was like, oh my God, what have I done? My head is spinning right now. It definitely is a step down from other Phantasm movies, but still has the charm of the crew. And then, there's a lot of like these emotional music-y moments and stuff that just come. I felt like I was watching a movie that a kid who's like a dungeon master, and like when he's 14 years old, starts writing like a novel in his like composition book. And
You know what?
Somebody types it.
I'll give you one better. And I don't know if you've ever done this exercise when you're a teenager, where you write like a page and then you give it to someone else, your friend do, and it just
Yeah,
becomes
we did
a
that.
convoluted mess. There you go.
Yeah, that's it. So I don't know. It was fine. Reggie and flying balls and whatever. Cool.
All right. Hunter.
All right. So I've said before, I thought Phantasm was a total crap franchise, and I didn't like the first two that I saw, and I have turned the corner, and I loved all three, the first three. The third one I thought was really good. This one, you can hear the Fonz revving up the chopper. They are moving the ramp out into the water. And then we get to watch Fonzie in the form of an ice cream man with a ponytail fly across that shark. What the F is this movie, man? It's wandering, it's meandering, it's all over the place. It's stuff shot then in 98 or 97 when they shot it, mixed with, I guess, crap that fell on the floor from the first movie.
Yep.
Which makes it even more impossible. And the jumps are just jarring. You're like, what the hell are we doing here? There is Jack's name tonight hints at real reason to watch this movie.
Best part of the movie.
I mean, all these Phantasm movies give you something. So this gave me something. I just can't tell you what the hell went on in this movie whatsoever. But I mean, we did have flying balls. Again, this could be considered a Christmas movie. Silver bells, silver bells. We had Angus Scrimm looking like Father Time is starting to drag him into the light. Jodie, who's been dead for 20-something years, having aged 30.
He's on my beer diet.
He's starting to look like the guy who owns the bar at Roadhouse.
Yeah. So this is not a good movie in any way, shape, or form. I do applaud them for just doing whatever the F they want to do and getting the band back together again and making the movie. Like Jackie said, it has some charm. It does have some charm, but you have to be a fan to glean any of that charm. So
the good news is, though, you could like check your phone and not worry about like, oh, I missed a line. I have to rewind it.
Did I miss a key plot point? No, you silly bastard. There is no plot. So,
all right, Chad, what'd you think?
This felt like a. I think I might be wrong, but I think I'm the biggest Phantasm fan here as far as the first movie. Jason, I know you like the second one better.
I'm pretty hardcore with Phantasm movies.
Yeah. I told you guys recently I haven't seen the fifth. I've been like saving it, and we'll probably do that next year. But for me, it felt like I was having some friends over, like the crew, Reggie and his buddy Jody and Mike, and the tall man and the Jawas. It was like having really good friends over I haven't seen in a while. Except, and I think we're going to have a good time, and it's so nice to have them here in my living room, but one of them's stoned and one's a little too drunk, and
one's
so
trying
it's
to
like,
sell you Amway.
Yeah, one of them's like, here, I got this pyramid. I got this. So they leave, and it was like, well, that wasn't the greatest visit, but it felt good having them here. That's kind of what it's not a good movie, man.
That's a genius way to put this.
It was nice having them over and hanging out, and there was some silliness. They were. I could tell that. Wow, whoever was writing the screenplay, I didn't catch that. I don't think Coscarelli touched this, did he? Maybe produced it, but I don't know that he wrote any of this.
I mean, I haven't looked it up, but I remember he did the first four.
Okay, well. I feel like he probably, when he was writing the scene where Reggie puts on his little ice cream tie and stuff, he pictured the audience just standing up and cheering because we got to see Reggie back in his OG uniform. And that's not what I did. I just kind of I was like, well,
I'm going to kick ass and dress like an ice cream.
Didn't work for me, but I freaking love Reggie. And I love that he's still trying to pick up the chicks. And he's like, what is he like? 50 something in here and
probably
trying to mac on this 22-year-old girl.
The good thing for him, he looked 50 in the first movie, so he looks the same.
Right. He's aged the least.
Yeah.
He's like
Steve Martin, but except for white hair, he just has the skullet. So it was one thing I did really, really like, even if it didn't make sense, was seeing all this cool footage from that we've never seen before from the first one. And how you could tell they were like, you guys, we got all this footage. Let's just build a movie around this, because there were a couple scenes that were actually really done really well. That made sense in the movie. But to me, it was also like a Phantasm Origins and Phantasm. We'll try to explain some of the crap that we couldn't before. We'll try.
It's like a Corman thing. Yeah, I've got this footage. Let's write around it and make a movie.
But if you've never seen Phantasm, oh my gosh, do not watch this one first because you will. Yeah, no, I can't imagine how lost you'd be, despite the info dump at the beginning. That doesn't even matter. So,
I I love the Phantasm series. This is probably my least. This is my least favorite one of the first 4. The kids stuff in the third one, I really don't like. But the shit happens in that. In this, there's a lot of like walking through portals to another world and being like, "Oh, look at that shit," and then like, "I'm gonna walk back over here." There's a lot of that in this movie. The budget, there clearly is not a budget. That CG ball scene at the beginning where all the balls go down the hallway, that's probably where most of the money went.
Boy, was that a cock tease.
But they were using, well, they had fish line on about 6 of those balls at the beginning that were stuck to Reggie, and then they pulled the string when they had a couple of the balls flying. It was hilarious.
Oh, I didn't even notice that.
Yeah.
I was talking about when it was like 1,000 balls going down the hallway. That CG in the 90s must have like killed the budget. This felt like Friends went out. They were like, you know what? We need to do one more. Let's go out in the desert, the 3 of us, the 4 of us, and shoot a goddamn movie. There's still cool moments in this. The beginning with the demon cop, which has nothing to do with anything, but is kind of a cool sequence, and they blow up a car. Like that's
they
fun.
blow up a lot of cars in this movie.
They like to blow shit up. Coscarelli likes to blow things up.
Yeah.
There's cool stuff like that. You still get the Reggie trying to get laid scene, which is in all of these, which I greatly appreciate.
Mm-hmm.
The Jebediah stuff is like out of nowhere, so they start explaining a little bit more lore, but then it just makes it even more confusing.
Yeah.
Although, did you catch the one scene at the very end when he has the ball that he took out of Mike's head? So I guess he has Mike's brain. Right before he walks out of the movie for the last time, he turns around and he has this look on his face like he's Jebediah again for a second, and then just walks out of the movie. Did you catch that? Dude,
my mind was
circles. There's some really cool stuff at the end where they allude to things. The tall man picks Reggie up and says something like, "Poor ice cream man, it's all in his head." Did you catch that?
Yes. And I thought
he says that dream. He says that out of nowhere. So it's like, what? And then they do some of the old cuts to the old stuff of Reggie driving around.
It's like Saint Elsewhere. The ball is really just a snow globe.
I've never seen that, but okay.
Oh man,
could be. So there's interesting stuff in there. It's just I don't think they had the money to do a whole lot of shit. Watching the brothers kind of just go around, you know, I'm like, and then at the end he's like, "I had to just make sure you were, you were evil before I killed my own brother." And it's like you could have done that at the beginning of the goddamn movie. Why have you been like walking around with him?
It's like Jason, just Chad. We write. If you write something, you gotta. When you're done editing, you gotta be like, does this move the story anywhere? Is there any reason for anybody to read this? No editing whatsoever. I wrote it, put it in, print it.
We did get to see. Should we just
Sure.
We did.
I don't know how you could spoil Phantasm, to be honest.
We did get to see the tall man's origin, and Angus gets to stretch his acting muscles a little bit and do something other than just say "boy." So that was probably the most memorable thing besides the boobs.
Oh, his wife, when he goes back in time and meets Jebediah, his wife is the woman from the first movie, the fortune teller. That's with the girl.
Oh.
Yeah. And the boy puts his hand in a box and starts yelling about how it hurts, and then that's that woman. What the hell does that mean?
She was around.
She was married to the tall man like 200 years ago or something? Like, what the hell?
Or she just
100 years ago?
Just wanted to put her in.
Are you sure that that's that same woman? I mean, I know they're like both gypsy types, but
I mean, it looks exactly like her. I don't know why anybody else.
Because one of them
was
like a blind fortune teller.
Yeah, this woman has the sunglasses on too, and was just in the rocking chair doing nothing.
Weird. One of the flashback scenes that I thought worked really well was when where it kind of verified that this is like a time travel thing. When young Mike heard in his head, and so did Jody, or no, not Jody. Reggie heard him say, what was it? And you can see them both like look at it's at the end of the movie and they're driving. Yeah. He's like, "Did you hear that?" He's like, "Yeah, it was just something." I can't remember what he said, but it was just the wind. But they were referring to something that was just recorded. I thought that scene worked really well for for that. But I don't know. There was some of the other scenes, like the hang or the when they hung the tall man in the desert, and then Mike decides he's gonna hang himself too, and somehow they are parallel. I that didn't make any sense. I was totally lost on that part.
I'm glad I'm not alone there because I was like, what happened?
The hanging scene, I think they must have shot that for the first movie, and then they were like, "This is dumb," so they did where he falls in the hole, the mine shaft instead. Yeah, and then they push a boulder in. Do you remember that from the first movie? I wonder if they shot the hanging thing and they're like, "Yeah, this doesn't work."
So it didn't work.
Yeah,
then.
they had to.
Let's put it in now.
Yeah, 20 years later, he's like, "You know what? It's not that bad."
Oh my god.
Well, let's talk about the most important thing in the whole movie. Reggie meets a girl while driving his car. They flirt, leading to her flipping the car.
Yeah, it's his fault she gets into a near fatal accident.
They blow up another car.
Yep.
And then naturally they end up in a hotel room. And I'm like, God bless Reggie.
And the skeeviest hotel you're ever going to see.
Oh my gosh.
Then she has a conversation with him with her in the shower, just covered up like this.
Yep.
And then we're treated to, one of the all-time great Phantasm moments where her domes become spears. And
by the way, Reggie's our hero, right? He's the guy we can all get around. Yeah. He sees her titties undulating under her shirt with just one.
And he's into it.
And he creepily in her sleep, I want to see what them titties look like. And he unbuttons. I'm like, ooh, he didn't ask permission. But man, I'm glad he did.
If you live in Reggie's world and you see anything undulating,
yeah, you have to check.
What did he think he was going to find? I wonder. He looked shocked to find those balls.
Plus, by this point, I wouldn't trust any women, man.
Nope. Well, but he keeps trying, man. He's been hard up for decades.
Is there any woman in this movie who's not some kind of corrupt phantasm thing? I don't think there is.
Was the black chick? Was she was okay, wasn't she?
Maybe she was the only one.
Yeah, she was okay. You're right. I don't remember her name anymore. Yeah. This is a movie, man. To say this is the most confusing Phantasm is probably accurate, which is saying something.
Yeah. I defy.
But that's the charm of Phantasm, man. You just like, even that first one, when you try to synopsize it, if someone's like, I've never seen Phantasm, what's that about? And you're just like, oh man, I don't know what to tell you. You just go watch it.
This does not bode well for part 5, Ravager, which was made 18 years later.
And they made it across many years, and it is not Don Coscarelli who made it.
He didn't direct it; he co-wrote it and produced it. I am going to wait till
a tall man with stop motion or something.
He was like 89 or something.
He's in it. He's still in it. Yeah.
I'm going to wait till we finish watching that one to reread his book, The True Indie, so I can, because now I'll understand what he's talking about because I've experienced it.
I should hate this movie, and I still enjoyed watching it. I did. I don't know what it is about these movies or Don Coscarelli's style that this thing is so goddamn confusing, and there are stretches of just meandering around. I should hate it. I still enjoyed watching it. You said it has a charm. That is exactly what it is. It has this weird charm to it. It's like these friends have been making these nonsense movies for decades, and they keep pulling it off, and I just like watching it.
Yeah. I didn't enjoy this, but I also didn't hate watch it either. I was like, oh, all right.
Yeah, me neither.
I enjoyed it. Yeah.
I was glad to cross it off the list because I've only, I haven't seen all these movies. So
no,
I was really curious for you guys to watch this one because I remember even the first time I watched it, I was like, dude, they made this for $8. Like those cars they blew up in the desert are still sitting there.
Probably. By the way, is Ravager a step up in budget?
No.
Oh boy.
There are a lot more actors in it though. Like this one, there's nobody in it. The next one, I think they called in all the favors for the next one because they knew it was going to be the last one. So But no, the budget is definitely not higher.
I predict a Tuesday in probably January where we're going to have to watch.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Ravager.
The January black hole of movie releases.
Did anybody else get hungry for nachos when he killed that cop on the roof of that car?
Dude, I was like, that is going to make me sick.
It looked good to me, man.
Throw up? I would.
That was straight up nacho cheese. You know it was.
I like nacho cheese, but I don't like a mouthful. Like oh,
it was a bit much.
And credit to Reggie Bannister, the actor. Yeah. That is him running away from that car when it explodes. Like, good for him.
Trying to kill him.
Cool scene.
They're trying to kill him many times over in these movies.
Have any of you guys met him?
Really hates his guts. What'd you say, Chad?
Have any of you guys met him? He still does signings and stuff.
Nope,
no,
never seen him. I've only really ever been to scares, so I've been to like one other.
If I pulled up to a convention and he was there, I would walk up to him and be like, "Why do you not have an ice cream truck and sell autographs and ice cream? You would make a mint."
Yeah,
they just
park it outside.
It was earlier this year. They had like a Phantasm thing where you could go. I don't remember what state it was in or what convention it was, but they had a whole bunch of Phantasm stuff, and one of them was that you could get in the CUDA and have a picture taken with Reggie in the CUDA.
That's really friggin' cool.
That would be hard for me not to pay the exorbitant fee.
Right?
I'm sure it'd be a lot.
Then I'd post it on my Facebook page, and everybody would be like, "Who the hell is that?"
Yeah, what is that?
Yeah.
Like, hey, this cost me $600. All right.
Hey, look, Jack's in an old car with a creepy guy. Again.
Wow. There can't be many CUDAs left in the wild. Like, that's wild.
Yeah.
I can't remember the last one I've seen.
There's not many Reggies left either.
It's true.
Yep.
No.
Damn. I would have loved to have done that. Damn it. All right.
It might happen, Jason. You never know.
Yeah,
there's time.
All these conventions I go to, I'm sure I'll run into them somewhere. Alrighty. We do know what we're watching next week, right?
Yeah,
but I forgot.
So
Smile 2.
Smile. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, Smile 2. Okay, my homework's done already.
Me too.
It's on Hulu, I believe. So if you
I
all
thought you
want to
said
watch
no. It wasn't Hulu. It was something
Peacock,
else.
Paramount Plus.
Paramount Plus.
It's Paramount Plus, yeah.
There we go.
So we will end the year with Smile 2, take 2 weeks off, and come back with our top 13 lists, which are going to be a lot of fun. So we will see everyone next week with Smile 2. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for coming, everybody.
Ho, ho.
Game over.